Hello and welcome to Yin with Rebecca. Today's practice, you will need 2 large blocks, 1 small block, a blanket, a bolster if that's something that you prefer, and a eye pillow if you have one, and any other props that you think that you might need. We're going to be focusing into the gallbladder and liver meridian lines today. Also, today's practice will be a continuous flow with not a lot of pause in between each of the poses. So if that's something that does not sit well with you today, by all means, stop the video, take your time in between the poses, and then return to the video and continue practicing with me today. I'd like to start out by reading a little thought with you or sharing a little thought with you. Maybe the next chapter is about choosing yourself, living more intentionally, prioritizing inner peace, celebrating small victories, finding joy in the present moment, nurturing meaningful relationships, trusting the timing of your life, releasing what no longer serves you, saying no without guilt, building habits that energize you, honoring your progress with gratitude, stepping outside yourself comfort zone, out of your comfort zone, setting boundaries that protect your energy. I'm going to read that again and hopefully I can splice it back in. Maybe the next chapter is about choosing yourself, living more intentionally, prioritizing inner peace, celebrating small victories, finding joy in the present moment, nurturing meaningful relationships, trusting the timing of your life, releasing what no longer serves you, saying no without guilt, building habits that energize you, honoring your progress with gratitude, stepping outside your comfort zone, and setting boundaries that protect your energy. So to get started, you're going to grab your blanket, fold it into 3. It's going to be a 3-fold here, so it's a little bit narrower than the 2-fold. It gives you a little bit of back opening. Placing the blanket so that it's just underneath your bottom. Each pose today is going to be timed for 3 minutes apiece, just to keep the flow of the practice. Again, if you want to add extra time onto each pose, you can pause the video, or if you want to take a break between the poses, you're more than welcome to do that as well. So you're just going to simply come back onto your back. You're going to have a block here for underneath the back of your head. Extra blocks beside you if you feel that that's where you're going to want to put your knees once you float into your reclined butterfly. So coming back down, making the adjustments that you need. Finding and placing that block behind your head. If you want to, before getting super settled in, you can rock your head gently from side to side, just allowing that softness to come into the neck, throat, relaxing your mind just a little bit. And then bringing the bottoms of your feet together, and then placing blocks underneath your knees if you want, or you can wait, you can have them pass just outside so that they're there when you want them. If you'd like to add any sandbags, if you've got those available to you, I can see I have one right here, so I might just grab one for fun, placing it onto my hips. You can also, if you have 2, which I think I do have, you can place them on either side of the hip flexor. Your hands can gently come down by your side, relax your shoulders down and away, and then gently coming into your breath. And gently softening your forehead, relax your jaw. Releasing any tension in the fingers and toes. finding that space where your breath feels even. It's a pleasant sensation for you. You might have started to feel a little bit of frustration in the hips creeping in. Maybe you're still feeling a little unsettled. That's okay. It takes time to come out from the chaos of what was going on before, to stop, especially in practice at home. Practicing at home by yourself is not something that is easy to do. So just remind yourself you've taken the time out of your busy schedule to make time for yourself. Right? It's okay to say no without guilt, to rest without guilt. Slowly take a nice full breath in. And if you'd like, you can take an audible exhale out through the mouth. And if you have a sandbag on, you can slowly start to move that off of your body. And keeping your eyes closed for the moment, slowly bringing your knees back up. If you need to use your hands to help you do that, you can. And then just gently rock your knees from side to side. Apparently, I have a prop here in my way, and my knees are bouncing off of it. So if your knees can go all the way down to the ground, by all means, go ahead and do that. And again, if you want to pause here and gently rock your head from side to side. Normally I use a bigger block, but I use the small block. I'm not too sure I like that. And do not open your eyes quite yet. You're just going to take that block out from underneath your head. Slowly roll over on to whichever side to bring yourself up. And as you bring yourself up, you can slowly start to open your eyes. Take the blanket off to the side. Take your props off to the side, just giving yourself some space here. And then slowly rolling back down onto your back. Hug your knees in towards your chest. And then taking both feet back down towards the mat. You're going to come into a figure four. This particular shape will only hold for about a minute. So crossing your right leg over top of your left, flip your shoulder blades down towards your bum so your chest has a little more opening. Gently tuck your chin in, kind of lengthening out the back of the cervical spine there. And then very slowly start to press your right hand into that right inner thigh, pressing the leg away from you. If you want some more pressure, you can take a block You don't have to reach so far. Kind of give yourself a little bit more muscle into that press in. And then slowly start to allow the hips to melt. Release the muscles. You might start to feel a little bit of a shake going on. It's just the muscle fibers working. If it's too much, you can always back off the pressure, just a slight press into the inner thigh, and gently just opening up that right hip a little bit more. You might even feel this into your low back on the opposite side, just depending on how you're feeling. And slowly release that block down and away, and start to draw both of your knees in towards your chest. Threading your right hand between the legs, dropping your left heel down towards your bum. Again, realigning your spine if you need to, tucking the chin just a little bit, relax your shoulders. And once you get settled into your reclined swan, start to relocate your breath. You need to rock a little bit from side to side to readjust to make sure everything's feeling better or feeling good. Please feel free to do so. If about another minute here. So gently making any adjustments that you feel you need. If you've had time to relax a little more, let it go. Or if you feel like you need to come out a little early, you're more than welcome to do that as well. And then just staying here for about another less than a minute. And then gently take a nice full breath in. And then on your exhale, you're going to slowly bring the foot back down to the mat. From here, you're going to do an open figure 4 twist. So you're going to slowly pop your hips over to the left. Walk your left foot a little bit away from your bum so it's falling out to the side. Open your arms out to T, and then slowly drop your knees down towards the mat. The low back on your left side will pop off the mat, and that's completely okay. Arms can stay out in a T, and your head can either come over, looking over your left shoulder, stay neutral, or if it's more comfortable, just go in the direction of the knee to the right side. If you find that you need some extra support here and your props are available, you can always pop a block underneath your right knee. You could also prop a block underneath the left knee or the leg, allowing for a little bit of support, especially if you don't quite make it to the ground. That's going to allow you to relax and release the tension in the hips. So this is getting a little bit into the side body. If you don't want any props, you can kick them away if you started to use them and decided you didn't like them very much. And then gently finding your breath again. I'm going to take my microphone off. I think it's rattling too much on my shirt. Super grateful for Dave providing me all the stuff so I can record videos for you, but I'm not sure about the microphone. Probably should have gotten something a little different. Oh well. And again, if you're finding that it's too much, you could always twist the props up to make them a little bit more supportive. So whatever you feel that you need, there might be a little bit of shaking going on. And you're going to be here for about another minute. Always come out if you've had enough. You need to deepen your breath. Please feel free to do so, lengthening out the exhale, allowing everything to relax. And gently on your next inhale, you'll slowly start to bring the knees back up. Walk that left foot back in, straighten out your hips. And then slowly reach down with your left hand to grab onto your right ankle. Gently popping your right hip over, giving your body a little bit extra space. And then slowly start to drop that left knee down towards the mat. Knee can stay bent and you're pressing into your right ankle. You can hang on to that right ankle if that's something that's available to you. Your head can gently pop over to the side. Now, if you're finding that you're off in space and you don't have anywhere for that foot to go, you can always place it on a block. Bring the floor up to you. Maybe you want to release the hand from the foot. That supported twist also comes from that bottom leg pressing into the bottom ankle. You can release the left arm, taking your gaze over your right shoulder this time. Or you can also take and press into, cracked my back. Press into the inner thigh or the knee of the right leg, adding a little bit of tension, a little bit of a different sensation in the body. Whatever suits your need. You can play around with it too. You can always start with your hand down by your ankle, supporting it that way, playing around with the different places you can place your hands. And breathing in deeply. And exhaling completely. Finding your steady flow of breath here. Gently reminding yourself you have nowhere to go, nothing else to do, and nothing to think about. And you're going to be here for another minute. If this is something that doesn't work for you and you'd like to come out of the pose, you can gently start to unwind the legs, making your way back into that original figure four. Take a breath or two, or gently coming out into a mini savasana. Savasana, sorry. And we're going to wind down from this side here. We've completed this side, all of the poses that were planned. So gently take a full breath in and a complete breath out. And slowly start to make your way back up into your figure four. Slowly pressing into that inner thigh. Take a breath in. Release your breath. And then slowly start to release your leg. And then bringing your left leg into your figure four. And then gently pressing into that leg. There might be a different sensation on this side. It might be tighter, it might be looser. Just holding it for about a minute. If you find that you want to have a deeper stretch here, deeper pressure, take the block, press it into the mat. Preferably your small one if you have one. This one's a little heavy. And you don't have to push so hard with your hand. You can just gently press in, keeping the elbow bent. And then slowly start to bring your legs up into your reclined swan. If grabbing onto your leg doesn't work, you can always grab a strap. Grabbing a strap. What I'm doing. And pull the leg in this way with the strap. So that's another option too, especially if you don't want to put the work in. Feels like a little effort using the arms. You can always just use the strap. Or you can take your arm to the outside of the shin, deepening it a little bit. And it might take a bit of time to find your breath again. You're going to be here for about another minute. Again, if this has become too much or you need a break, slowly start to make your way out of your reclined swan and just take a moment before we come into our open figure four. And gently, when you're ready, you're going to slowly start to bring your right foot back down towards the mat. And coming into your open figure four, so you're going to drop your hip over to the right. Start to walk that right foot out. So you're going to come down into your open figure four. If you feel like you're going to need a block here for support, by all means, bring a block. Arms can come out to a T, head can drop over to the right. Making sure if you need to change up your props at all, if you need a bigger block, always switch out to a bigger block. The other option here too is if you're finding that you're not relaxing, you can take a strap around that ankle and then just hold on to it with a strap. You can lengthen the strap out a little bit. Mine wasn't lengthened enough. And then you can hold it out so that you don't have to hold the leg up. It's a little bit more relaxing. Entirely up to you, whatever works best. And you'll be here for another 30 seconds. If you feel like you're ready to come out, you can come out, or you can stay, deepening your breath. I just left my props on, so I'm definitely. And gently take a nice full breath in and a complete breath out. Bringing that leg into that figure four as you rotate back out and gently pressing in for a breath or two, just noticing how the body feels. Gently release the leg. We're going to come up to sit. So if you want to take a moment here for some windshield wipers, you're more than welcome to do that. And then when you're ready, you slowly make your way up and come to sit. You can grab a blanket to sit on if you feel like you're going to need a blanket. a block, maybe for your hands, and a bolster to place in front of your legs. Always feels like it's mean when I pull people out of a pose that they've been laying on their backs for an awfully long time. I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see you. Alrighty, so just placing your bolster here in front of you. If you want to sit up onto a blanket, you can, especially if you find that you dip down into your hips. And then slowly bringing your legs out into a V, wherever your V is. My props out of the way. Coming into dragonfly, opening up the legs, causing a little bit of stress to flip down the fronts of the legs. Sitting up nice and tall. Tend to want to slouch, especially when we're feeling a little tired. You might be feeling a little tired after all of that. We've been here for about 30 minutes total, so you're probably feeling a little bit tired. So just finding that spot where you can sit up nice and comfortable. If you find that if you're sitting on your bum and you find that you want to feel more grounded, you can always move the fleshy part of your butt, allowing those sit bones to really ground into the mat. So you're going to find a feeling of grounding here. Taking your hands and just gently placing them onto your legs. Roll the shoulders up towards your ears, and then slowly roll your shoulder blades down towards your back pocket, lifting the chest. We're just going to hold this for 6 breaths. Just noticing the sensation of the body, noticing if you want to dip down a little bit. Maybe you are feeling a little bit lifted. Just really getting into those back postural muscles. Breathing into mostly probably feeling like your rib cage so you can hold this here. And then gently, either using your block or a bolster, you can slide that block into the inner part of your thigh. I'm just going to move my bolster over so that you can see a little better. We're going to come into a side bend. So you're going to place your forearm. So as you come down, you're going to arc into the left side of your body, so we will be opposite of each other, and lifting up this side of your rib cage, and just gently placing your hand onto your bolster or a block, whatever works better for you. Opening up the chest by taking that shoulder blade and rotating it back, placing your hand on your waist and pulling your elbow back. So you're really opening up in the chest. We're trying to avoid floating over. So opening up in the chest, in your chest, and then slowly start to float that arm up. And you're going to come to a soft edge where you start to feel the tug here in the side of your waist, maybe a little bit of a tug into the armpit. And then when you feel that way, let the shoulder blade rock up and over the rib cage, and we'll keep the chest open. So we're trying to keep the chest open. You can drop your head down so that your ear is coming towards your left shoulder, relaxing the throat and the neck, or you can tip your head and look up towards your elbow. If you're finding that you're really bending in the arm, you can reach up from the elbow, lengthening out, or you can drop that hand back down and just leave the arm there. So whatever suits you better. You're just going to go to wherever your body stops. If you want to lengthen the edge out just a little bit, you can. If you don't like that block there, you can move it out of the way. And then gently take a full breath in. And a complete breath out. And slowly start to bring yourself all the way back up. And I think I covered up my microphone. Oh, no, I didn't. I just moved it out of the way. And then we're going to take everything to the other side. Just getting into that side body. So again, you can have a block or a bolster or nothing, depending on how you feel, or you can switch the height of your block, whatever works for you. And drop your back of your arm here. So you're really trying to open up in the chest. Take your left hand this time. Roll that arm bone back, opening up the chest. pull that elbow behind you, really trying to lift the chest. So it's not about going deep. It's definitely about finding that edge that works for you to allow that opening of the chest. And then slowly start to bring that arm up. Maybe you just bring it to the shoulder height, really lifting up the shoulder blade up and over your rib cage. And if you can float that arm a little bit farther, drop that ear down towards the shoulder, or you can look up towards the sky. You're going to take 4 more breaths here. If you don't like the way that block feels, you can always release the block, come down a little further, adding a little length to that side body. Keeping the energy in the hands so you're feeling like you're lifting. And then slowly on your next inhale, you bring everything back up to the center. And then bringing your hands back onto your thighs. Close your eyes and just noticing the sensation inside of your body. There's a little bit of energy there. Closing your eyes if that's where you're at, just gently keeping them closed. And then slowly grabbing your bolster, and you're going to float down into a forward fold. Now, your forward fold can be wherever you'd like it to be. If it is essentially just tipping the bolster up and coming forward with your head and relaxing over, that is completely fine too. You're just going to slowly find that edge as you lazily start to forward fold, tilting the tailbone back, coming down onto your forearms. We're not going to force anything. We're just going to allow the body to move the way it would like. If you don't like the bolster, you can try just coming down onto your forearms. If that works for you, another option is to have the bolster right in front of you long, stacking up some blocks and then coming down and placing your head onto the block, or you can pop the blocks in underneath so you have more of a slide. You can just gently come down and relax. And tip your face from one side to the other. And on your next exhale, imagine the muscles in your back just melting away, softening the bones, allowing that release to happen in the hips and the back. Breathing deeply into the back body, expanding the lungs. And gently settling in. So gently take a nice full breath in. a complete breath out. Slowly start to make your way up to sit. Once you've gotten there, you can take a moment just to let everything settle, staying in your dragonfly, moving your bolster off to the side. You might want to take your small block or a blanket and place it at the top of your mat. And then slowly bringing your feet back in together, just taking your props off to the side. And we're going to come down onto our stomach into a reverse needle. So coming down onto your tummy, you're going to take your left hand. You can use the block or blanket underneath your forehead if that's much more comfortable for you. Or you can just place your head on the mat. Gently start to take your left hand out to the side. If you need to move over to the right side of your mat to give yourself some more space, you're more than welcome to do that. And you're going to look over towards the right side of your mat. Slowly start to take your arm that's right from your shoulder here, opening up the hand, rolling on to your left side. Option is to stay here in a nice gentle fetal position, or you can start to move that knee up towards the sky, opening up the chest or the hips, and then taking your right arm up towards the sky. Flip the palm backwards so it's facing away from you, and slowly start to drop the right hand down into a bind. If you don't want to take your right hand into a bind, you don't have to. You can simply let it stay as a kickstand, holding yourself up here. You can also take a blanket or a bolster in between the knees, especially if you find that you can't take your knee up towards the sky. Opening up the hips a little bit more. You can always just gently bring the knees back down, staying in the fetal position, arm on your side. Or you can put a prop in between your knees. I don't have one close by. If you have a sandbag close by and you want to use it, simply just take it with your right hand, pop it over top of your waist on the right side of the body. That kind of grounds a little bit, and then slowly start to relocate your breath, allowing it to soften. And of course, if you need to make any adjustments, always feel free to do so. You are never stuck in a pose. If you need to make the adjustments, please make your adjustments. And slowly, slowly start to bring your right arm up towards the sky, bringing it back down onto the mat. dropping those knees back down together if they're apart, or moving your prop and slowly lengthening out the legs and coming onto your tummy. You're going to take your left arm into a thread the needle with half frog. So the deeper version of this, you would have your left knee up in half frog, float the left arm underneath, and come back down into a thread the needle. You can place your head on a block or a blanket, or it can come down towards the ground. If this does not work for you, simply switch the leg. So your right leg would come up into your half frog, and you would keep your left arm underneath your chest. So you can play around what works best for you. If you're really struggling with trying to get this arm underneath the chest, in between the neck and the chest area, you can always, again, take the right leg up instead of using the right arm. Switching that around. And then slowly starting to allow everything to relax back down into the mat. And release and let go. Always trying to make any adjustments that you feel that you need. Hopefully you haven't slowly started to fall asleep. And then when you're ready, gently take a nice full breath in. A nice, deep, gentle exhale out. Slowly coming and releasing the arm, release the leg, wiggle the hips just a little bit, and then get ready to come to the other side for that reverse needle. So this time you're going to take your right arm out to the side, coming over to the left side of your mat, gently rotating over onto your right side, bringing the knees in. You can stay in the fetal position if you'd like. Or I'm going to start the timer with my nose. And coming into this shape here. Nice. Your left arm can come up and over, opening up the chest. And gently take a nice full breath in. And gently release your breath. Slowly bring that right arm back up, or sorry, left arm back up and over. Slowly bringing those knees back down, coming over onto your belly. And then taking your right arm underneath your chest. The right leg's going to come out into that half butterfly and come down into your reverse needle with a half frog. If this does not work for you, you can always, I'll set the timer. It is set. Switch the legs over, come with the left leg over. It's a little more relaxed, a little less stressful on the back and the shoulder. So whatever you feel that you need, you can also place a block underneath your head for support, especially if you find that your shoulder is really struggling here. Some of you have mentioned you sleep like this, so maybe you'll start to feel like you're going to have a nap. Then gently take a nice full breath in and a complete breath out. And slowly, when you're ready, you start to bring yourself back up. Release the leg and bring yourself all the way back up. Kneel. You're going to take your bolster as an option here. Bolster is definitely optional. If you want to come into tadpole and stay on your bolster, you can do that. If you're on a hard surface, you might want to make sure that you're long ways on your mat so that your knees will stay on the mat. Otherwise, if you have carpet, you can come to the short end of your mat. So your bolster, if you're using a prop, is going to come deep into the inner thighs. And gently coming into a frog pose. So you can stay in tadpole here, or you can widen out the feet and come into full frog, staying on your prop. If you're floating over, you can also put a block here to put your head on if you're not all the way on your bolster. You also don't have to use a bolster if you don't want to. So you slide that out of the way, widening out the knees. And if you want to come into your full frog, Gently press your ankles away from each other and coming down into your full frog. You can have your head flip from one side to the other, or you can slowly keep your head on your hands, whatever is the most comfortable position for your neck. And again, if you're finding that you're struggling to slow down your breath or feel calm here in your frog pose, please come back into tadpole supported by a bolster. Or maybe it is time to come out. We'll be here for about another minute. But if you find that you've had plenty of time here in your frog pose, please take the time to bring your legs back down towards the end of your mat, rocking your hips out gently, or deepening your breath, melting your hips down towards the mat, softening the bones, softening your muscles. And then gently take a nice full breath in and a complete breath out. And slowly start to lengthen the legs out underneath you. Rock your hips from side to side. And then when you're ready, you're going to bring yourself back up onto your hands and knees. And start to just come down into a rock pose or ankle stretch. Just take a second here to allow all the sensations to settle in for about a minute. And then after the minute is over, slowly start to gather the props that you would like for Shavasana. You can have a bolster underneath your knees, a blanket for underneath your head, an eye pillow for your eyes. If you have a blanket, extra blanket, you can blanket over top of you. If it's warm, you can actually just lay the blanket over top of your hips. That just allows for a little bit of grounding. So while you're here for another couple minutes in your resting pose, I'll start to set up for Shavasana. The bolster, if you want it, will go underneath your knees. A little pillow for underneath your head. Maybe you do want to take a blanket across the hips, so it's just that regular blanket fold in half. So very gently here, start to take a breath in and a nice gentle breath out. Start to gather your props for your Shavasana. So I'm going to just hold us here in Shavasana for about 3 minutes. And then if you want to take more time in Shavasana, you can. I'll slowly disengage the video. So, pillow underneath your head, blanket across your hips for some grounding, knees supported by a bolster, eye pillow. I forgot mine. Hands can just gently come down by your side. Roll your shoulders back. I take it back. We're going to stay here for about 5 minutes. You can tip your tailbone up, re-lengthen out your spine, opening up the chest, just allowing yourself to be as comfortable as possible. It's very difficult sometimes to not want to just get up and move on out after yoga, especially when you're practicing at home. So just take this last little bit here, expressing some gratitude towards yourself for taking the time to practice. It's not an easy thing to do to practice at home. Slowly releasing thoughts from your mind, relaxing all the muscles and bones into the mat. And gently take a nice full breath in. And then slowly let your breath go. Gently rock your head from side to side, wiggling fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. If you'd like, you can take a big stretch. Stretch the body out and then draw the knees in towards the chest if you'd like. Hugging those knees. Slowly rolling over to whichever side you like and making your way up to sit. Well, I'd just like to thank you for taking the time to practice with me today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming. And I'll try and pause this.